gotta talk to me in my ear about when you want to start the broadcast. We're gonna go to commercial and then we'll come in here. The Cave, Glacier Peak High School, Scott, John McLean, our expert STS. It is Glacier and Jackson, John, and it's always a packed house.
Oh yeah, it's a group of friends playing. You know, these kids see each other all the time. It's gonna be a big game. A lot of people here.
We got a special pregame for you tonight, so stay tuned right after this. Time Sports Network. Okay, we're bringing Brian Hunter over right now. Hey Brian, I haven't even seen you. How are you? Good to see you. Oh, Tucker hats. Okay. Hold on, he's got to find somebody real quick. All right, Coach. Okay, we're back live here at Glacier Peak High School against Jackson tonight. We're with Coach Brian Hunter in his 5th year. Brian, you had a big win last week against Snohomish. Mentally, though, how are these kids coming off that big win tonight for this daunting task they're about to do against Jackson?
Yeah, well, you don't think about the other games all that much. You know, once the game's over, you move on. Next one. I think Jackson is so exciting for these guys. It wasn't hard to get them up. I mean, they're ready to play. It's a fun game, fun atmosphere. It should be a good time.
Good. John has a question for you.
So you're looking at Jackson, and it's a big 1-2 punch from Kingma and Todd. What are your plans? They got the inside-outside game. What do you think you're going to do with that tonight?
You know, Todd plays on the outside a lot as well, so, you know, we're just going to try to D them up, make them earn their points. If we make them really work to get their buckets, we'll be in good shape. But, I mean, great players are going to score no matter what. So, it's kind of about us doing our thing and limiting their good shots.
So make them work hard and slow them down as much as possible, huh?
That's our hope.
It's a good plan.
All right, we'll be back with more right after this. You're watching Glacier Peak basketball on the Snohomish Time Sports Network. Thank you, Brian. Good luck tonight.
That obviously helped mix it up a little bit. I get loose like change when it's on your dresser.
We're talking to the student section here, the Glacier Peak student section. This is Hunter and the gang. Why is the Jackson game such a big deal?
They're our biggest rivals.
Why every year, 2 years ago, the place is packed? Do you guys know a lot of Jackson kids? Why is this such a big deal for the kids?
I know a lot of Jackson kids. We're friends with a lot of them, so it's fun to play them. Big competition.
All right. Get everybody jacked up. Hold on. Let's get Cody Campo real quick over here. Cody. How are you? We got some football players. Hey, Cody. You had a big, intense game on the football field. Why is it so intense against Jackson like tonight on the basketball?
Yeah, they're one of our biggest rivals, baby. That's why it's a rivalry, man. It's a rivalry.
All right. Get them jacked up. We'll be back with more right after this.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Yeah. He didn't quite sound like a brain surgeon, but
What's going on right now? Welcome back here. You're seeing the gym filling up, John McClain. This is always an exciting, I'll never forget 2 years ago here when Brett Kingma, who's now younger brother, lit up 30 plus, was draining them from half court, shushed the crowd, and there was a skirmish that almost turned into a fight in the corner of the gym.
oh, it was crazy. And there are more people here tonight. I think that we're at the Snohomish game on Tuesday.
Well, the crowd is going to be filled up as we see a lot of familiar faces come by. So break this down. We got obviously Brett Kingma's little brother, Dan Kingma, coming in. They played Redmond Tuesday night. They beat them 62-32.
Yeah, soundly.
Same thing obviously with Glacier Peak. You were there.
Yeah, the Glacier Peak Snohomish game was kind of an anomaly. It was unexpected. I expected Snohomish to go down by 20 to 30 points, not by 50. The Snohomish kids just kind of got on their heels. You could just see they were just overwhelmed. And the poise of Glacier Peak just came through. I mean, you could see that the kids had played in postseason, you know, and they were almost all returning. They just had a much more mental game with them than Snohomish did. If we played them later in the year, I think it'd be a little bit different game. But this is early in the season.
Well, we'll see. This Jackson team obviously had a big run last year. Second year in a row getting down to the Tacoma Dome for them. They were 19-7 last year overall, 8-1 in the league, and they lost 66-60. A tough loss to Union from Vancouver, and they dropped the consolation game to Garfield 60-47. But Coach Steve Johnson for Jackson is loaded with a lot of juniors, John.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't make it this year, they'll be back next year and probably, have a good chance of going all the way. They got a big club. They're quick. They got both an inside game and outside game. I mean, they're action-packed. They could do it all, and especially when they're coming back again next year. If you're going to return that many kids, you got a good chance.
And Glacier Peak coming not as young as they were last year, but this is going to be a big test. It's almost like the Kamiak game last year where they started off pretty stiff competition. Now, Glacier Peak beat Jackson last year in their house. So, revenge for Jackson. Glacier Peak wants to keep the streak alive.
Yeah, Jackson's going to want to get a little tonight. GP, though, got a real good chance of taking this game home. All the kids got to do is settle down, minimize the turnovers, get all the steals they're normally going to get with an aggressive defense like they play, capitalize on mistakes, make Jackson work for everything, not give them a bunch of percentage shots. They'll probably come away with a V.
Now, last year, they beat Jackson 64-59. Zach Peterson, the big stud for Glacier Peak, had 26 points. Jason Todd had 20 points last year as a sophomore. So the big fellas showed up last year.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to show up again tonight. And it's whoever can put the brakes on the other person the most, right? We were talking to Austin Kaiser, who's out tonight with that injured shoulder. And if he would have been in this ball game, he would have probably been on Todd. He would have probably been all over Todd, by the way. So we're going to see what GP can do without him. They might have to rely on Russell coming in and doing some work, and maybe even Nick Allen.
Let's spend a second on last week's game against Snohomish. The big stories there, obviously, Ramsey Rosales drops in 14 three-pointers against Snohomish. He was 60%.
Yeah, 3 for 4 from three-point land, right? Shooting from downtown. You like to see Rams doing good. You like to see him get hot hand.
Peterson led all scoring with 18. Again, just a monster under the boards with 10 rebounds last week.
Yeah, and Peterson gets 18 points, but, they kind of pulled him off. They took the throttle off, and then he probably didn't get, the fourth quarter at all. So he's looking at 3/4 of action, 18 points, and then had the brakes on in the third. So,
and fun to see again, obviously, from the gridiron football. Big 6'6" Nick Allen got some nice playing time early. Had a nice little, in the lane turnaround jumper from close range.
Yeah,
2 points, but
Nick's got a good looking shot. You see him in the JV game because he's swinging. Looks really good from the free throw line. But let me tell you, the big surprise for me in that game was Ty Chelsvik.
Yes, I was just going to bring him up. 8 points, shot 3 for 5, 60% from the field. John, 2 for 2 from the stripe, which is a McLean key.
Yeah, I love, from the charity stripe, I love kids hitting the bucket. They're free. They're free throws, right? You should shoot 90%. But I couldn't even say his name last night because I didn't even hardly know who he was. And I was impressed with the way he played. Great kid, too. Talked to him after the game. Ended up having to get a couple stitches. Played awesome.
He was all stitched up by our own Tim Boyle, our football analyst. His wife happens to be a nurse and stitched him up. So Ty Chelsvik, and then also you got Drew Bader. Let's talk about him coming back. Did not play football this year because he wanted to concentrate on basketball.
Yeah.
Only had, he didn't have many points.
Well, but Bader got a lot of good looks at the bucket, a lot of contested layups that he didn't knock down that I expect him to knock down, right? I mean, he either needs to get fouled and go to the stripe or make that thing. So, and I think he's going to do it because he was going to the bucket hard. He's quick. He's handling the ball well. He's, a good basketball player, good heads-up kid, and he passes well, too. So.
And Mitch the kid, Mitch Poorman, we saw last year. I know personally, I really expect big things from Mitchell Poorman
Mitchell's
this year.
my boy. I love Mitchell. I love the way he plays defense. He is just in your shorts. He is the most annoying defender these kids are ever going to come up against, and he's relentless. He never stops. The only time they stop him is when the coach pulls his ass out.
Right. Well, he only took, the other thing about Mitch is you got to shoot the rock, baby.
Yeah,
he only had 3 shots. He took 3 shots. That's it. He had 3 points.
If you don't shoot, you can't score, Mitch. So if you're listening to this later, shoot the ball.
And he's the general. He had 4 assists last week, 4 steals. And again, the big key last week, and we talked about it, you and I off the air before we went on, 14 steals for the Grizzlies, and a lot of them were in the first half.
Oh yeah, they were just taking the ball from them every which way. It was amazing. It was sad. It was a little hard to talk about when we were announcing the game.
It is. So to meet more of the Grizzlies, we got a special feature coming up right now. Here's your 2012-13 Glacier Peak boys basketball team.
I'm number 2. I'm a guard.
I'm Bobby Brooks. I'm number 3. I'm a forward, and I'm a junior.
Ty Tosvik, number 4, forward, junior.
Drew Vader, number 5, point guard, senior.
Russell Anderson, number 10, post, senior.
I'm Austin Kaiser. I'm number 13.
Maria Gonzalez, number 20. I'm Zach Peterson, I'm number 21. I'm center and I'm a senior.
Mitch Corman, I'm number 23. I'm a guard and I'm a senior. Trey Chambers, number 25. I'm a guard.
Nick Allen, number 30, post, I'm a junior.
A great new feature. You get to meet the boys, and we have one for our girls game again. 16 live streaming basketball games going to be covered right here on STSPN. Again, we're glad you're here in the cave. The kids are starting to dance. It's white out. The place is going to be nuts, John McLean.
It is going to be nuts. I mean, look at that bunch of kids over there from Jackson. They're taking up half the student section. I mean, it's a big turnout. It's going to be a good ball game. It's going to be exciting. I'm hopped up.
2 minutes from tip-off. Want to make sure everybody out there checks out our Facebook page at STSPN. Let us know during the game. We've already gotten a couple people chiming in that we're freezing up a little bit, but we're working off a limited network here tonight, so we'll try and work on that.
I see Minnie Kingma out there warming up, number 5. He is Minnie. He's only 5'9".
5'9", Dan Kingma Jr. Again, last year only averaged 9.3 a game. He had a high of 17 points. Against Redmond on Tuesday, led the scoring, 17 points with 9 assists. So him and Todd, the workhorses, but as you were talking earlier, John, they do spread it around quite nicely.
Oh, yeah, everybody got involved, but, I mean, it was kind of a blowout, right?
Yeah, they beat 62-32, a big win last Tuesday night.
So Brian Zaire came in with 8 points, Riley Waite, 6, Connor Wilgress, 5, Marcus Blake, 4, Kyle Graff, 3, and 2 for Derek Bates and Blake Ozuna, right? I mean, that's spreading the load around. That's good to see. I mean, then it's like, where do you stop them, right? You plug one hole in the dike and another one springs up.
Well, yeah, and obviously last week against Redmond, not indicative of Jason Todd. He averaged last year over 19 a game with a high last year of 35 he dropped on somebody. But last Tuesday night only coming up with 15 points for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, but Coach Johnson probably put on the brakes sometime in the third quarter, so, Todd probably didn't see much action in the fourth.
About 15 seconds away from the starting lineups being announced here. Our referees tonight are Kevin Erickson, Aaron Keller, and Rick McGuire. Bob Blair will be our PA announcer here at Glacier Peak High School here, south side of the hill in Snohomish.
Yeah, the Sheriffs, when they were warming up, boy, they look like they're ready. They're all stretched and ready.
We'll have some other Wesco.
Joking around now.
Again, just like football, Glacier Peak starting out with a 4A matchups with Snohomish. Then they've got the Jackson Timberwolves tonight, and then next week on Tuesday they go to Kamiak, where Kamiak last year beat them here.
Yeah, in basketball there's really not that much difference between 4A and 3A. You're really only getting 4 or 5 real players out of a school anyway. So unless you have some freak growth spurt amongst an age group of kids,
Yeah.
And you'll see that occasionally. You'll see those D1 players that you can spot right off the bat, And if you get a couple of those, then you're going to state, But usually these schools can only support maybe one, and most of them don't have any, right?
Right. Well, we're going to get down to Bob Blair, our PA announcer here, also the athletic director. And we'll be back in just a second for the tip-off.
number 5, Dan Kingma. For Glacier Peak, a 6'3", senior, number 20, Ramsey.
Rams.
For Jackson, a 6'5" guard, number 10, Jason Todd.
Yeah, they're announcing him as a 6'5" guard.
Glacier Peak, a senior, 6'6", number 21, Snap. For Jackson, a 6'4" guard, number 12, Brian Zoe. For Glacier Peak, a senior, 6'1", number 23, Mitchell. And for Jackson, a 6'5" guard, number 22, Connor Wilbers. A 6-foot junior, number 25, Trey Chambers. Jackson High School is coached by Steve Johnson. Assistant coaches, Bryson Canoe, Joe Darren DeVito, and Andrew Peterson. Glacier Peak High School is coached by Brian Hunter. Assistant coaches, Todd Tipke, Craig Davis, John Bonner, and Bo Siegel. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you stand, remove your caps, and join us as Glacier Peak student Natalie St. Marie leads us in the national anthem. And afterwards, please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Tell him to back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, things are getting fired up here tonight, John McLean.
Game on.
Glacier Peak Grizzlies versus the Jackson 2.